Hello again. Before going any further, I feel I should apologise for the poor quality of the microphone that I'm using. I've had a few emails from people pointing out that it is echoey and awful. It's partly this room as well, which is it's just painted stone. I'm going to do something with it at some point, but it is very echoey and is a very inferior microphone. And I hope that normal service will soon be resumed. I receive regular emails from viewers of this channel. Most are, I think it fair to say, white people from Britain, America, Ireland, and what we used to call the old Commonwealth, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and so on. But some of the people who email me are black. After I mentioned the other day that I can't be doing with white liberals and their supposed right-on views about race, I got an email from somebody who's been in touch with me before. He's pointed out news items that he thought might interest me and make good videos. Let me quote part of his email. I'm emailing regarding your recent posting about white leftist liberals and black people. As a black Muslim, and whose parents are from Ethiopia, I can confirm to you that there are many black British individuals, not just me, who are a big fan of you. Of course, I do not agree with all your opinions, but I respect your rational basis for your views on supporting data. Now, on the face of it, some people might be surprised at this, but on reflection, it is no great mystery at all. I've spoken at length here about my feelings for Britain and British history, and my belief that Britain gave an awful lot to the world, doing far more harm than good. I'm proud of my nationality and proud of my ethnicity. Of course, this is largely because I was born in Britain and happen to have a certain skin colour. However, a moment's thought will soon tell us that people of other ethnicities, different religions and backgrounds other than mine, are likely to feel exactly the same pride in their own heritage. The guy who emailed me is Muslim, and that means that he's part of a group which feels they have a special connection with the Lord. Never mind whether they're right, they certainly feel that way, and this is likely to be a source of great pride and joy to them. Then, too, somebody whose parents are from Ethiopia has an ancestry which some people might think is more ancient and noteworthy than the British. The kingdom of Sheba, I'm sure we've all heard of the Queen of Sheba, which straddled the Red Sea, included parts of Yemen and what is now Eritrea and Ethiopia. It was flourishing 3,000 years ago, at the time of King Solomon. They spoke a similar language to King Solomon too in Sheba, because when I hear people speaking Amharic or Tigrinya, which are widely spoken languages in Ethiopia and Eritrea, I can pick out a few words. And the reason for this is because they are Semitic languages like Hebrew and Arabic. In Hebrew, for instance, house of, as in, say, the house of David, is Bet. So the house of David is Bet David. In Tigrinya, it is the same. House of is also Bet. So if they wanted to say my house, Simon's house, the house of Simon, they'd say Bet Shimon. I mention this just to show that I can readily understand why somebody from an Ethiopian or Eritrean background would feel every bit as proud of his heritage as I do of being British. We understand each other well enough. We both feel the same way about our background. Of course, the Chinese have a similar feeling. They sometimes regard themselves as the most ancient civilization in the world and feel that their background and ancestry is a matter of pride and that they are the most important people in the world and what's more, probably given the world more than anybody else. The Bedouin feel like that too. And so to the Japanese and the Jews. I may well think that Britain and the British are the best thing in the world, but so too do Ethiopians, Chinese people, Eskimos, Zulus, and many other tribes, ethnicities, and nationalities. Obviously, we can't all be right, and I'm quite prepared to believe that I'm wrong in my own view of the case. Let's face it, I'm hardly an unbiased observer here when I'm talking about Britain, am I? I wonder now if viewers are beginning to see what I'm driving at here and why I can maintain excellent relations with black people and engage in fruitful dialogue with them. It's not as strange as it might seem. The guy who emailed me is immensely proud of his own ancestry and heritage, proud of the country his parents came from, proud of his religion, and quite possibly proud of the colour of his skin. He watches my videos and sees that I too am proud of my own heritage and think that it's a grand one. This means that we have something in common, you see. Now consider why I do not have anything much in common with white left-wing anti-racist globalist types. They're not proud of their heritage and background. They show no patriotism to either their nationality or their ethnicity. They despise such things. They are internationalists who cannot grasp the concept of pride in one's clan or tribe, pride in one's religion, or pride in an ethnicity. They think that all that kind of thing is a lot of nonsense. It means that me and that guy whose family are from Ethiopia have something in common that we neither of us share with white liberals. The same goes for religion. I worship the Lord in my own way, and when I meet a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim, I recognise that we have something in common. I'm not a Muslim, but I certainly have more in common with Muslims than I do with atheists. I share common ground with Muslims, and when I talk with Muslims, I know that we are both on the same track in a way that I don't feel when I deal with atheists. The other point to bear in mind is, of course, that I'm well aware that I might be completely wrong about my ideas as they relate to ethnicity and nationality, just as I may be when I'm talking about religion. This too is something I might have in common with many Muslims and black people, but not with left-wing white people. The reason for this is very simple. White liberals are completely convinced that they are absolutely right about their views on race, gender, politics, religion, and everything else. The idea that they might be mistaken never crosses their mind for a moment. They're fanatical. For this reason alone, I tend to look at them a little askance. I've mentioned before that I'm a great believer in Cromwell's law, as it's known, which is always to bear in mind that however sure you are about something, you may be mistaken. This simply doesn't happen with white left-wingers. They know that their views are wise and good, and all those who think otherwise are dangerous heretics. And that is why I maintain very good relations with black people I come into contact with, while being at the same time regarded with horror and disgust by the more right-on type of white person.